Yeah, I kinda walked into this one, didn't I? Well, joke's on you, because despite my comments from the Spyro video, I was itching to talk about this great wolf deity, so thank you for activating my trap card. Now activate my other trap card by playing a Klonoa game. You won't, wimp! Okami Amaterasu. Even though starting as a PlayStation baby like the last three characters I talked about, Okami eventually did get a port to the Wii. Wait, is that the IGN logo? Which got itself a sequel on the Nintendo 3DS in the form of Okami Den and a few HD remasters. As darkness surrounds the land of Nippon, Amaterasu and her faithful celestial envoy Issun take up their arms and venture to exorcise evil. Ami would be a lightweight character with average fall speed, with a fast run speed but noticeably slower walking speed. She'd have 2 jumps and she'd be able to both wall jump and crawl. So Ami was a bit tricky to think about when it came to her attacks, because despite majority of her promotional art of her wielding a reflector shield, Ami has access to 3 types of weaponry. There's her iconic reflector, which can act like a shield and had a basic combo game, her rosary whip, which is used for long-range combat and can be used as a projectile, and lastly the glaives. Bulky swords which has not as big a combo game as her reflector, but hits hard and can be charged to deal extra damage. When you have such a versatile goddess, you want to find a way to use every weapon and tool in their arsenal, which opens up several possibilities for the character in question, more ideas to come to mind, and more fighting with yourself because I'm so indecisive with too many things to work with. So this is what I came up with, and if you're not a fan of it, viewers, it's cool. In a few weeks, I'll be mad at myself too. Amaterasu's basic jab would involve her swinging her reflector at the opponent from left to right. This would actually have some decent range, as the reflectors are seen to cover a bit of distance between her and the enemy. This jab would hit 3 times, with the last jab doing the most knockback. Her dash attack, Amaterasu, would do a charging headbutt. Her forward tilt would be a quick swipe of her reflector, which can be angled. Her up tilt would be an upward swing with her glaive. Down tilt is a low to the ground long range sweep with her rosary. The rosaries in Okami and even in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 would hit multiple times with each swing, so they would also hit up to 3 times upon connecting in smash. For Amaterasu's forward smash, she would charge her glaive and make a powerful horizontal swing which launches opponents. For her up smash, she would whip her rosary straight upwards. This would also hit multiple times before launching the foe if the whip connects. And for her down smash, Amaterasu would swing her reflector on both sides of herself, one at a time from back to front. For her neutral air, Amaterasu would perform the Holy Falcon, a move she can learn through the dojo which weaponizes her double jump into a screw attack. It hits multiple times before launching any cough up. Her forward air, Amaterasu would whip her rosary straight forward horizontally, which would cover a bit of distance, and for some added flair, because the rosary is a whip, you could actually use this as a tether recovery, similar to the Belmonts. Her back air, Ami swings her glaive horizontally behind her. For her up air, she swings her glaive from front to back above her. And for her down air, she swings the reflector below her. Think of this like Duck Hunt's down air, except instead of a duck, it's a holy instrument that can murder demons. And probably ducks too. Demon ducks. Duck demons? Geese. Now, the reflector in Okami does have a unique property that I would like to translate to Smash. Seeing as it's a reflector, all attacks that utilize it can reflect projectiles, because of course it does. Meaning Amaterasu could totally troll Snake's up smash if she were above him and used her down air. Yeah, that's her Sniper Wolf. Considering Amaterasu is a doggo, just like Duck Hunt, she would bite the opponent for her grab and bite down harder for her pummel. Issun will also be jumping on the opponent's head as you pummel. What is Issun doing? Well, his best, that's what, leave him alone. Her forward throw, Ami would use Gale Storm to launch the opponent ahead of her. This can kill at mid-high to high percents. This was her grab in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Her back throw, Ami hurls the opponent behind her normally and then shoots them even further using her Rosary Whip, which could be done if the Rosary Whip was equipped as your secondary weapon. Her up throw, she will jump high into the air and begin to spiral as she lands back onto the ground. While this sounds similar to many characters whose up throws are then jumping up into the air and landing back down, hers will not go all the way up and will even go forward a little, and it can hit anyone else caught in the landing of the attack. This is in reference to an attack Ami can do if she parries an attack with the reflector, but only if the reflector is equipped as the secondary weapon. And for her down throw, she backflips, then shoots a few rosary beads into the opponent before sending them into an upwards angle. This can be a reference to a rosary attack she could do in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. For Ami's neutral special, she would use Power Slash. A strip of paper appears above Ami and floats towards the ground. Anyone who touches it will immediately get hit by a powerful slash. This would work similarly to how it does in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The paper would even linger on the ground and be activated upon stepping on it, giving this move a bit of stage control. The paper will stay active for about 15 seconds before automatically disappearing if nobody touches it. Also, if Ami attempts to create a new one, she will instead just automatically activate the one she laid out prior. Also, Power Slash is capable of reflecting projectiles. However, only during the attack's startup frames. A paper wouldn't even be made given you already Power Slash to reflect the projectile. Projectiles would not be reflected by the paper itself. Amaterasu's side special would be the very thing that establishes her place as a celestial god, the Celestial Brush. This is going to be a long one, as there will be multiple applications and extra inputs for this move. Don't worry, I'll keep it simple. Amaterasu herself is known as Goddess of the Sun in Shinto religion. In Okami, however, Amaterasu is called upon to reincarnate as the wolf of legend Shiranui. What made Shiranui so special was that he wields the power of the Okami and is a celestial god, a god who lives within the constellations and have control over the elements. There are 13 brush gods in total, and they all harness the elements utilizing the Celestial Brush. Don't worry, we aren't incorporating all 13 into one move. That would be overwhelming to anybody. Plus, that's what some of the other specials are for. For Amaterasu's side special, a streak of ink will appear before her and can be guided into a path. To make it simple to understand, think of Pac-Man's palette trail, only with more fluid control so you have an easier time maneuvering the ink path in any direction you please. This ink trail would last about 2 seconds before the special ends. By default, the ink trail will be green. Once the ink trail has finished its path, the ink trail will turn into vines. This is the element of Green Sprout. The vine itself wouldn't be very sturdy and would break after one attack. It could be used to clank with other hitboxes, although if you draw the line from Ami to a ledge, you can use the vine as a tether recovery. Now, if you draw a circle while the line is green, Amaterasu will use Bloom, which causes a cherry blossom tree to rise up, dealing big damage and knockback. However, this can only be done on the ground. If you draw a circle in the air, it will only make a circle of vines. But that's not all! After all, the Celestial Brush controls multiple elements. If you press the B button again while the line is green, the streak will change to red. The ink trail will then ignite into fire after 2 seconds. This is Amaterasu's fire ability known as Inferno. This fire will do small flinching damage, and it lingers for about 2 seconds after it ignites. And it could have multiple uses. Ledge pressure, frame traps, kill setups. You could even draw a trail around Ami herself and have a makeshift shield. Ness is already sounding pleasant. Apologize to him now. But wait, there's more! If you use the ink trail to draw a figure 8 while the trail is red, Ami will cast Fire Burst, a powerful fire spell that hits more times than Inferno, has a bigger hitbox, and greater launching power. Do know that with the 2-second duration of the ink trail, you will only have enough time to draw out the symbol, so the move would never go that far away from Amaterasu. Could be used for possible tech chase scenarios. But wait, we're still not done! If you press the B button again while the trail is red, the ink trail will become yellow, which will change the ink trail to lightning. This is the technique of Thunderstorm. It will work similar to the Inferno trail, only the trail will cause electrical damage. Have you apologized to Ness yet? The lightning comes out very quickly, but it will be the weakest of the 3 techniques in terms of damage output. If you draw a lightning bolt symbol, Amaterasu will cast Lightning Bolt, where a bolt of lightning strikes where Ami stands, causing devastating knockback. So to recap, press side B for a green trail, press B again while drawing to get a red streak, and again for a yellow streak. And if you're wondering what would happen if you press B again while the streak is yellow, nothing. It stays yellow. So make sure not to mash too much if you specifically want Inferno. Do note that if Amaterasu is hit at all while drawing the ink trail, it will be cancelled out, so you do give up a bit of stage presence while drawing. You can cancel the Celestial Brush with shielding or dodging, but only those methods. Her up special would be Water Spout. A large pillar of water rises up from below Amaterasu as a makeshift platform and will give her vertical height after activating. She's able to freely move around so she can jump off it at any time, but she must be quick because the pillar will disappear once it reaches maximum height, which should take about 3 seconds. That said, the Water Spout isn't fully solid. Makes sense since, it's a liquid. Anyone who's taken 5th grade science could tell you that. I bring this up because the spout will not stop anything from going through it. In fact, with enough force, anyone can be sent through it, ignoring it entirely, even Ami. Opponents who are competent enough could spike Ami while she's standing on the water spout and send her straight to Jigoku. That said, if Ami tries to enter the spout from the sides for any reason, it will just safely push her to its top where she can jump off from there. Opponents would also be able to stand on top of the water spout as well, but it should be noted that anyone who tries to enter the spout from the sides will be pushed and propelled upwards, leaving them vulnerable. Only Ami can enter the sides with no direct repercussion. And finally, her down special would be the Cherry Bomb. Amaterasu would lay down a bomb that's about half her size that would automatically explode if an enemy touches it or is left alone for 5 seconds. That said, that's only if an enemy touches it. Ami, on the other hand, since she has god privilege, can push the bomb by running into it. It would roll along the stage and even roll off the edge. She's only able to lay one down at a time. If she tries to use this special again while one's already out, then it won't work. Wow, Amaterasu specials are OP, please nerf and patch. Yeah, I hear you Wi-Fi warriors out there. Yes, her specials would be ridiculous. I mean, she's a goddess. She should be powerful. However, this all plays, say it with me guys, within her gimmick. Originally, I was thinking of having weapon switching like she does in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to be her gimmick, but that would involve making a moveset for each of her basic weapons, and that would not only mean me typing up a 20-page script for this, but BJ probably making a video whose length would rival Papyrus's video. So you're welcome. So to compromise for her specials being ridiculously powerful, her gimmick is something I think would be a much better idea to balance this out, and that's ink bottles. In Okami, your celestial brush was powered by ink bottles. Every time you use the brush, ink bottles would be consumed. So for Smash, let's have Amaterasu hold 8 ink bottles, all in which could be seen above her percentage icon. For each time you use a celestial brush technique, half an ink bottle will be consumed. So if you use 2 power slashes, that will take up an entire ink bottle. Once you run out of ink bottles, Amaterasu will lose her red coloring and become a regular white wolf. Any moves utilizing celestial brush techniques would just do nothing. You also wouldn't have your divine instrument anymore, and Amaterasu's attacks would be replaced with basic and awkwardly pitiful wolf kung fu, just like in Okami. Her dash attack would remain the same, but all her other attacks would just be funny, awkward-looking wolf kicks. I see no point in actually going over what kicks she does for what, but just know that she would go in the appropriate direction based on controller input, but they would be really weak and have, like, no range. But hey, if you can gimp someone without being a god, I surrender. I can't even be mad. That's about as impressive as beating someone with no Pikmin. You outplayed me, sir. Don't worry, you can get your ink bottles back. If you are ever in a state where you run out of ink bottles, it will take about 12 seconds before the bottles fully refill and are usable again. Once they fill all the way back up, Amaterasu will get her markings back, as well as your divine instrument and celestial brush. Ink bottles can also be refilled on their own when the celestial brush isn't in use, but refilling them this way takes much longer than if you were to deplete them entirely. It takes about 10 seconds for a single ink bottle to refill fully, so 5 seconds if it's only half full. Do note your divine instrument will not deplete ink bottles. Only moves that utilize the celestial brush techniques will, which does mean forward throw will cost half an ink bottle to use, hence why it kills. Now to wrap up Ami's moveset, it's time for the Alright, hold on, I gotta calm my dog down. Wait, I have a bunny, not a dog. Yep, Chibiterasu joins as Ami's Echo Fighter. In Okami then, Amaterasu leaves behind a son, okay yeah, that one too, who goes on a similar quest as his mother did to rid the world of demons and eliminate the shroud of darkness that surrounds Nippon. Chibi obviously wouldn't be as strong as his mother, and his attacks would be a much shorter range, but he would be faster and lighter due to his smaller size. Basically, Chibiterasu would be Ami's Pichu if Pichu didn't hurt itself. Chibiterasu would also have 6 ink bottles as opposed to Ami's 8, but they could recharge faster. As Goddess of the Sun and Shiranui's reincarnation, Amaterasu's final smash would be reverting to her primal state from 100 years ago. As her body ignites with godly power, she howls to the sky to summon the sun to eliminate all darkness within the field, all the while raining powerful celestial spells from the sky onto the field. Power slashes, cherry bombs, inferno, thunder, blizzard, Amaterasu would strike judgment on the field with her celestial brush. So unless you're really good at dodging, there may be little hope to avoid getting hit at least once by this final smash. On top of that, when Amaterasu reverts back to her current state, all her ink bottles will be refilled. As for Chibiterasu's final smash, he will run in a straight line, charging anyone in his way. Anyone caught by this will be dragged into a cinematic finisher where Chibiterasu and all his partners from Okami will each take a swing at the enemy caught in the final smash. Nanami, Kagu, Kuro, and Manpuku would come in hitting the opponents with their signature abilities, with the finishing blow being Chibi and his best friend Kuni. Kuni revealing the sword his father Susanoo used, and Chibiterasu with his glaive as they slice all foes within the final smash to send them flying. Coming up with alternate colors for the Wolf Gods was not hard to do, actually. Why? Because Capcom kinda did some of that work for me. Aside from alternate skins you can acquire in Okami, thanks to being in a fighting game prior, she has a few alts we can work with. I won't be using all of them, but it did make thinking of a few much easier to do. For Ami's first alt, she would be all brown with white around one eye and black around the other. This is in reference to Tei of the K9 Warriors. The second alt would have completely gray fur. This is in reference to Chi, another of the K9 Warriors. The third alt, Ami would have slightly gray fur with some green spots on her body and face. This is in reference to Rei, another of the K9 Warriors. I could be lazy and just make every alt a reference to the K9 Warriors, but come on, this is Smash. We gotta go that extra mile. Plus, you guys are already yelling at me for something, so best not stir the pot. The fourth alt, Ami would be completely green and have a stone-like texture on her. This is in reference to when Ami was originally a stone statue at the beginning of the game. The fifth alt, Ami would have dark blue fur on the body and red fur on the top, which would be in reference to Oki, a warrior Amaterasu meets in the later half of Okami. The sixth alt, Ami would have yellowish fur with a white underbelly. This is in reference to the Demon Lord Ninetails, a boss you face in Okami who also can utilize the Celestial Brush. And for the last alt, and Ami's only alternate costume, would be Ami with a slip of paper on her face. Don't look at me, Imps ate this disguise right up. It's even got a smiley face. She would also have gray fur and a red underbelly in reference to the Demon Lord Orochi, just in case you get mixed up with default Ami, since the only difference otherwise is this stupid piece of paper. For the first alternate costume for Chibiterasu, Chibi would have a pale peach face and a purple body, in reference to his best friend Kuni. The second alt, Chibi, would be blue. This is in reference to Nanami, a mermaid which Chibi befriends. The third alt, Chibi's body becomes pink in reference to Kagu, a famous child who starts off as a spoiled brat but warms up to Chibi after a while. The fourth alt, Chibi's face is yellow and has a bright pink body in reference to Kuro, a descendant of the Moon tribe and may have connections to Waka from the first game. The fifth alt, red head and brown body, would be in reference to Manpuku, a large boy with anxiety who loves to eat. Wow, that one hits a little bit too close to home, Okami then. The sixth alt, Chibi, would be completely green in reference to Issun, the celestial envoy who travels through Amaterasu's adventure and a little bit of Chibi's adventure. And is also a huge pervert. And finally, the last alt would be a dark Chibiterasu outfit, being completely black with just glowing red streaks across his body, in reference to the final boss of Okami, Dark Chibiterasu. Now, why doesn't Amaterasu get a dark alt? Well, because there is no Dark Amaterasu. Also, real clever on you, Capcom. Okami is often seen as a Legend of Zelda clone, and Zelda 2 is when we were introduced to Dark Link. And when was Dark Chibi introduced? Okami Den, the sequel to Okami. I see what you guys did there. Was making it the hardest boss fight in the game also an homage? For both their entrances, they leap onto the stage and howl. Amaterasu having a more grown-up wolf howl, and Chibi having a tiny bark. For taunts, Amaterasu's up taunt would be a yawn, given her aloof nature. Her side taunt, Ami would perform the Golden Fury, or at least attempt to. She'd lift her leg up only for Issun to stop her from shattering Ganondorf's dreams of becoming a god of disrespect. Her down taunt, Ami just lays on the ground and falls asleep. And you can keep this going for as long as you want to. She'll just lie there, acting like you don't exist, literally sleeping on the competition. That is until you press any button where Issun has had enough of Ami being so disrespectful and wake her up. Best part, this taunt would shrink her hurt box, so it's possible you could fly right over Ami and possibly to your death with certain characters if you're not careful. Her sleeping is so powerful, you could potentially kill yourself, and Ami isn't going to stop you anytime soon. For Chibitarasu's up taunt, he would also be a yawner, very much like his mother. His side taunt, Chibi will start chasing his tail playfully. And for his down taunt, Chibi would hunch down and wag his tail about like when a puppy is getting ready to playfully pounce you. You heard that right, Chibi isn't even playing with you. He killed you so easily, he's yet to even begin playing. You're looking at a pupper who isn't even using 10% of his power. Ami, what have you been teaching this kid? For victory animations, Amaterasu's first one would be her boss victory animation, where she barks towards the ground, then howls to the sky triumphantly as she's glittered with divine sparkles. Her second victory animation, Waka comes down and dances with her, with Ami not sure what to make of the whole thing. Look, Waka, unless you're an assist trophy, you can't just waltz your way in here. And for her last victory animation, Ami just sleeps again. Wow, Ami, you're actually just being rude. Even Issun is jumping on your head telling you to stop. For Chibi's victory animation, the first one will be his boss victory animation, which is literally just what his mom does for her first victory animation. Jeez, what a mama's boy. The second victory animation, Chibi gets on his hind legs and starts dancing. Something he'd do when he's excited and getting playful. He felt really good about that win. There's no feeling more satisfying when your main pops off with you. And for the final victory animation, Chibiterasu walks behind Kuni, lifts him into the air, and catches Kuni on his back with the boy posing with his sword out. This references when Chibi gets a new partner and he hoists them onto his back. Truly a team effort. And that does it for the two God Dogs, and unlike the puppy shelters, these two would only cost you $5.99 for DLC. Amaterasu and Chibi are already characters whose worlds have brought a lot of charm and even a ton of culture to Western audiences, and that would also bring a colorful environment straight into Smash. Anyways, if you like what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel and help BJ be able to make more content for you guys while also getting some perks for doing so, you can click the join button either below the video or on BJ's main page to become a sponsor for his channel. And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact BJ on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. Thank you all so much for watching, and now to get my artist pen working and get back to working on my own passion project. All 78 pages of it. And now I wish I were a celestial god.